Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 24?
23. Gotta be 23. Definitely gotta be 23.
Did I finally forget? I thought it was 24.
Yeah, you had a good streak. We've been doing, you've been
24.
right for like
Oh, you're right, it is 23.
days.
It's 23. Damn. All right.
Yeah, damn, dude.
Damn.
Get dunked on.
You know what I feel like happened? I feel like I was ready for 23. I feel like I was ready, and then I got so ready that it was like in my head, and it went away. And then
you already did it.
And then I remembered.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is episode 23 of the Metal and Lex podcast, and we're here to talk to you about a positive question, give you the life updates and things, and I'll lead in with this fucking Fortnite Apple shit. Is everybody aware of this shit?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't know about this?
Fortnite
man.
Apple?
Okay, so
Was it Big Apple in Fortnite?
No.
Was it having a concert?
I am envious of your naivety. I wish I didn't even know what Fortnite was. I wish.
Oh, sure. Well, I know what Fortnite is.
I wish
it's
like
2 weeks.
I wish there were. I wish the world had no nephews, and then I would never know what Fortnite was about. If every person who was between the ages of 5 and 13 just didn't exist, then none of us would ever have to hear about Fortnite.
I fucking hate that game.
It's
there's only one battle royale game, and that's Danganronpa. Feel free to at me.
I don't know anything about that one, but I've very rarely ever enjoyed battle royale anything. I don't understand the genre. I feel like we've talked about this, but I could be making this up. Like
you and I did.
Yeah, I don't understand the appeal of the entire genre just in general. Like I understand from a design philosophy why it exists as it does, which is to say that there are a bunch of fucking stupid ass plebe newbie scrub lord idiots who suck at shooting and suck at FPS games. And they're like, "Oh, why can everybody just hide in the corner and snipe me? That's bullshit. I want to be a man. I want to be a burly man and fight." It's like the people who bitch at fighting games, like, quit running away. Engage me in Mortal Kombat, you camping scrub. I'm so good, and all you're doing is running away. So anyway, fucking battle royales are an entire genre of games for that idiot. Okay, because the whole point of fucking battle royale games is that the map shrinks over time. So if you could find a good sniper spot and hide in it, or like abuse the fact that you got to a good place or whatever the fuck, the game just fucks you by shrinking it down. But because the game is so big, because the map is so big, a lot of times the best way to get like top 10 is just by doing nothing and like hiding in the forest anyway.
Holding very still,
in the right place. So it doesn't even achieve like what it sets out to do, and then I just don't understand why that's appealing. People think it's so cool. They can build. You build a building. Like I don't get it. I don't get any part of it.
That's a different guy than you were making fun of before. But I can help you with that. So as you well know, there is a degree of permadeath in those battle royale type games where when you die, that's it. That's all. You go and you queue up for another game.
Oh, but that's bullshit too. Because no. Okay, I have to interrupt you because I felt like I was on another planet. When I watched my nephew for Christmas, all he wanted for Christmas, he said no. He wanted to stream Fortnite with me. He wanted me to play, which is so adorable, and I hate humans so much, and I wish no one ever loved me, so I didn't have to deal with this. But unfortunately, my nephew really loves me, and he really wanted to play Fortnite with me and stream it because he knows I like stream games. So, okay, I promise this is a point. So with what you're saying,
I believe in you.
He was playing with me, and I was like, all right, I know like generally what Fortnite's about, but I've never played it. I played like other dumb ones, but like you gotta like, why don't you play a couple games and I'll watch you and then we can play one. And he's like, okay. And I was fucking horrified. I felt like what it must have been like to be a parent in like 1907 when the Beatles first came around.
That is, I think your dates. I'll have to double check in the facts.
Back in the
look it up
back in the early 1900s when the Beatles invented
the aughts. Yeah, when they invented rock and roll music,
and everybody thought that they were the devil.
All music.
Yeah, I feel like I must know what that was like because I was watching him play, and he died, and he left the server, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
I guess he just like, there was something in that server he didn't like. He's going to join a new server. And then he went to another game and he died and he left the server and he joined a new game. And then he went to another game and he died and he left the server and joined a new game. And I went, wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing? He's 8. And he was like, what? I'm just playing the game. I'm like, why do you keep leaving every time you die? And he was like, that's what you do. I was like, what do you mean that's what you do? You stay and you chat with the other dead people and you think about what you did. You think about what you did.
You
and so you're better. So you're better next time and you cheer on the people. He's like, no, why would I do that? I'm just going to leave the game and go to, and I was just like, I had to like walk down the street. I just left him in my apartment. I was like,
did you lock up?
This is ridiculous. Yeah, I locked him in. Anyway, I couldn't handle that. And I didn't know that until that happened. So anyway, to your point, that's how those games are set up, and it is an abomination. An abomination.
So the entire idea is when you die, it's over, and you could stay and watch if you're a 40-year-old man, or you could just requeue for your next game. And so there's that constant what do you call it? The feel good hormone.
They're always in dopamine.
Yeah, you're
dopamine
constantly
rush.
getting smacked in the face with the dopamine, because anytime you lose and you could feel bad, you can just queue up for another game. But about that game that you're playing, that you're winning or whatever, that you're invested in, anytime someone dies, it just funnels down and reduces the amount of people until you've got only the people who care left.
Yes.
Regardless, if you're in the top 4, you're the 4 people who still care about that game, because everyone else is gone. Sure. That's how they maximize your investment. Because if you die, you can just leave, and if you're still playing, then you're invested.
That's so stupid, though.
You're
like
trapped.
it's so.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate everything about. I hate everything about. Well, I understand why it works, and if anything, I almost respect the dev team for like fucking siphoning off the souls of the damned with their fucking money soul harvester.
Tube, yeah.
But like you know, and V-Bucks.
That's the thing that the mosquitoes use to.
I actually do know that word. Unlike winsome, they've got a winsome proboscis. Ooh, that's my new band name. No one can take that. Winsome proboscis. I'm gonna play. We're gonna have a banjo, and our drummer is just gonna be a guy with an old milk box. And he's just going to hit the plastic milk box. And our singer is going to be deaf. And he's just going to grunt off key. And we're going to be called Winsome Proboscis. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
You heard it here first.
Winsome Proboscis. Anyway, fucking Fortnite is an abomination. I don't understand it. And that part of it is like, my problem is that people actually enjoy that. It's like baffling to me. Like
it makes me angry that people like it.
Yeah, I want to punch people in the face for liking it, dude. It's so stupid. It's like
not just Fortnite, Apex Legends.
I
assume Valorant.
The entire Valorant is not quite battle royale. Valorant's more like Counter-Strike
Arena. Like
Valorant's still stupid. Don't get me wrong, but it's a much less hateable game and much better than battle royale games. By extension.
Yeah. I hate it because
Valorant's like Overwatch. So they're not quite. They're not the same. Mind. Yeah, Overwatch or Counter-Strike. It's like Overwatch meets Counter-Strike. That's Valorant. Anyway, Battle Royale shit. I don't understand why people like Battle Royale games. If you do like Battle Royale games, you're fucking stupid. What the hell's wrong with you? I just can't, like, there's so many better games. Okay, so it's the same thing where, like, when people play, like, MOBAs, and MOBAs can be really good, but the main reason a lot of people play MOBAs is because they're dog shit, and the only way they can have any fun...
The people are the games.
Yes, but I was talking about the people in this instance. Because the only way they can deal with their own shittiness and ineptitude is by playing a team game where they can bitch at their teammates. And that's why there's so much toxicity in
the MOBA communities.
In MOBAs.
Because there's always someone else to blame.
Because those are always those people. But like those people literally can't play like a fighting game. They're incapable of doing it. Because they're like,
my favorite.
Oh, mid lane's fucking up, fuck you. And then you put them in a fighting game and they're just like, oh, this is bullshit. It's like, yeah, you fucking suck.
Sucks.
You suck.
Yeah, no, you suck.
You're really bad. And so however much I hate the MOBA community for being like so many people like that, the fucking Battle Royale community is like, okay, if the MOBA community is me pooping on the floor and rolling around in it, then the Battle Royale community is like a room full of people who have pooped on the floor, rolled around in it, not eaten, starved to death, died, rotted, and fucking become like a soup. Then a fucking hippopotamus with AIDS gets into the apartment and he eats all of the remains of the people who have pooped and become this mush
and filthed up.
Then he dies, okay? And when he dies, the world ends and fucking everything decays.
Man, I didn't know that everything was relying on this hippo.
Yeah, and everything decays and a single dandelion like grows out of that 1,000 years later and whisks away in the wind. That's the fucking community. Like they're not even human. They're not even human in the fucking battle royale community.
We're so far removed.
They're like a fucking disease plague of fucking rotted fungus eaten by an AIDS hippo. Like I can't. So anyway, those games are bad.
That's a science fact. No, but tell me about the apple.
Yes. So
the large apple.
So because everyone in the world is a worthless piece of shit and is terrible and has no value intrinsically and is just slowly killing the planet, naturally, Fortnite is one of the most popular games in the world. So
okay,
it's extremely popular and
follows.
It's on like the Apple Store, and it's on Google Play. And you can get fucking Fortnite, like, if you fucking, like, plug your dick into an electrical socket, you can play Fortnite on it, okay? Like, Fortnite is on
It's got to be USB 3.0 or higher.
Yeah. Fortnite is on every fucking thing. So, they're everywhere. And Apple apparently kicked Fortnite off of the Apple Store because...
Oh, shit!
Because Epic Games started allowing people to spend their, like, V-Bucks. Like, you can buy V-Bucks in Fortnite, which is, like, their fucking currency you spend real money on.
Yeah, built-in cryptocurrency.
Yep. You can buy that currency with money, like real money in real life. And if you're anywhere but, like, the Apple Store, you can use whatever. You can use PayPal. You can buy directly from Epic. You can do whatever. But on the Apple Store, it's a rule that all apps must use Apple Pay for any in-app transactions. And Apple takes 30% of that, which is insane, by the way. I mean, fuck Apple more than anyone. Like, fuck Apple. 30% is
they suck.
Batshit insane. So Epic created an ad, which this is actually pretty badass. Epic created an ad that is a direct, like, mimic copy of the famous Apple 1984 ad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Come out with
where the lady, the hot lady's got she's got like a hammer. I think it's like a hammer.
Oh,
like,
you're right.
She's hot athletic lady is wearing spandex and she's running, and it's like a bunch of droney fucking Uber 1984 robot people.
Monitor.
Yeah, they're all staring at a screen, and she runs in and throws the hammer at it, and I forget what it says. It says some words. It's a whole thing. It's very famous. Because
buy an Apple computer.
Because what's more what's more freeing than the shittiest company of all time marketing to you and convincing you that you're an individual that you can't be enslaved. Oh God, is there anything worse than someone who is actually an Apple fanboy? I don't think there is in the world. I don't even know what analogy I would use after the hippopotamus one, because Apple, dude, I'm sorry. If you have ever thought the thought, like, I'm not saying like anyone has an iPhone, like they're fine phones. They have better they have better touchpads on their laptops than PCs, but they're fucking retarded, and they're committed to not having touch screens ever on a laptop, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's so stupid. Like, why would I not want a laptop that had a good touchpad and a touchscreen? Why would I not want both? So anyway, but if you've ever just thought like, gosh, sure do wish other companies were as good as Apple, good old Apple. Like, if you fucking wake up and you're like,
my back.
Ho hum, Apple sure is great. Like, I just hate Apple fanboys more than anything. It's like, because you have to be
sick,
willingly uninformed, which is bad. But then you also have to be so ignorant of the way the world works that you like fucking think your own turds like fucking smell like roses and gold. And so it's such a odd combination of being both uninformed and extremely confident in your stupidity.
You know what the problem is for you? Because I figured it out. They're evangelicals. That's your issue. They're devout evangelical. They're preaching the gospel, and the gospel everyone can look at it and say, oh, that's horseshit.
Yeah, everyone can look at it and say it's horseshit. But the difference is, at least with the real gospel, They've got
at least with organized religion.
At least with real organized religion, they've got hundreds of thousands of years of built-in like oppression and slavery mind control. And Apple just has a couple neat commercials, and then people are like, "This is my identity, my whole life. I am an Apple person. You are a PC person. You don't understand my way. I know you know lots of cool things, like how to actually fucking do anything or program or use fucking software or build a computer or any useful skill. But I have skills too. I can write swooshy lines with my Apple pen. Ooh, like what? Like they're just like, to think that it'd be like if I fucking made Kraft mac and cheese and then I was like, yeah, man, this fucking Michelin star chef, I mean, he's good, but I don't think he understands what I know. All right. Cause I made this mac and cheese. I made this Kraft mac and cheese. Yeah, man. He's on the high end. He thinks he's so great, but he's not really in touch. I'm an Apple person. I make my mac and cheese out of a box. I'm a chef. I'm a chef. Anyway, fucking Apple. Okay, that's too long. Apple. The point is, Apple is shit. And everybody hates Apple.
And you're mad.
And Epic made this ad, okay? And they put this ad on Twitter. They had it like baked in. It was literally like they planned and knew that Apple was going to kick them off the store. They were like, we're going to fucking put this in. We're going to violate it. We're going to ignore them. And they had pre-planned. Pre-planned created this so that when Apple kicked them off the store, they released this ad. It's on Twitter, which is like, it goes viral because it's funny and cool. And like, instead of being in like spandex, it's like some chick in like a fucking weird Fortnite costume. And instead of a hammer, it's like a big multicolored fucking unicorn pony. It's a unicorn pony on a stick, and she throws it at the screen, and the screen has like a big
and then she flosses.
A big mean apple head is like the guy on the screen. He's like, apple things. And it's like, and so they blow it up with like the Fortnite thing. And the video is like, the words that come up, whatever the words were in the original Apple ad, it's like the same format, but it's like, don't like Apple has removed Fortnite from the Apple store in a shocking blah 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 of shockingness. Don't let 2020 become 1984. Hashtag free Fortnite. So it's like this whole fucking, thing, which honestly, the ad is fucking godlike. Like they did such a good job. And then they also played it in game. So like when you join a game in Fortnite, there's just like a big screen, like fucking playing that ad or some shit. So apparently they also got kicked off the Google store, but they're not like going as hard with and for the same reasons, although Google doesn't take fucking 30% of your revenue. It's some smaller amount because, they're in the world of shitty corporations, at least not as terrible as Apple. They're one of the good corporations. Capitalism is evil.
Reel it in.
But they're so good. They have my interests at heart, Lex. Don't you understand? Google represents me.
In a way that Apple could never hope to.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. I'm even talking in the same voice I was talking in before. Oh no. Anyway, so what happened is after all of that, like, I'm not gonna lie, they even got me. I was like, damn, that's a pretty good ad. And then I kind of like reeled back and thought about it. And then 5 seconds after it like went viral and everybody was liking it, everybody was like, hey, why are we fighting for the freedom of two giant corporations like suing each other? And I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of stupid. And then it's like on the heels of the fucking like Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, and all, you got to do what's important.
God,
retweet those important hashtags.
Damn, that's fucking like bad timing. Oh, like Jesus. So yeah, man, I don't know.
To Fortnite's credit, following the sensation that is Black Lives Matter, the sensation that is trying to have equality and not have black folk shot dead in the streets, it's a tough act to follow.
Free Fortnite.
Like, what do you do after that?
I think you free Fortnite. Fortnite.
Honestly, props to Epic Games for falling on that sword for the rest of us.
Yeah, thanks to them. Well,
because now
let's be honest.
I mean, viral.
If we can free Fortnite, then we can definitely.
I don't know, Will.
No, man. Like, if we save 2020 from becoming 1984, Lex, then surely anything is possible. If we just spend enough V-Bucks, then we'll defeat racism.
That's the defining slip into a fascist authoritarian regime is when they pull Fortnite off of Google Play. Not the ethno state that we're slowly having built around us, not the institutionalized racism of the last 100 years, but when they take Fortnite.
I mean, yeah, man, we've been institutionalized into the Apple Store. This is. Look, man, all I'm saying is clearly Epic Games is on the same side. I can't even get through this. They're fighting the good fight with us, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, that's like, and honestly,
they're our allies.
I'm not gonna lie, it didn't hit me right away, right? Like, they did a pretty good job of smoothing it over. Like, it took me a good couple hours. To be fair, this is like a random thing I saw on Twitter while I'm at work. So, it's not like I was really thinking much about it. But like, yeah, a couple hours later, I was like, "Oh yeah, those are some good points. This is dog shit. This is fucked. This is bad. Why are they doing this? Like, and like, why are we like trying to? Yeah, like this is literally just like ExxonMobil fucking suing Shell or whatever the fuck, like it's some fucking company suing another company. But like everybody's like, oh, the funny ad is funny and poignant. Good job, Epic." So anyway, yeah, it seems like it's starting to turn into negative press, but that's like this week in gaming info as far as I'm aware. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking wild. But yeah, we have a topic. We have a topic today.
We do, yeah. Okay, so
Lex had an input from a friendo.
Yeah, so I had hit up the Brain Trust. And Jeff had asked me about what we look for in new fighting games. He specifically wants us to weigh on the baggage of being in a series and what you look for in a successful sequel. And is there any kind of a fighting game that you're like upcoming that you're looking forward to?
All right. Does he know about the baggage? The baggage of Street Fighter 5?
He listens to the podcast, so yeah.
He's heard those episodes.
I'm inclined to say he might know about our feelings, but if we want to restate them just for the record, just for anyone who's decided now is the time to tune in.
All right, so Street Fighter 5 is like if a bunch of people pooped on the floor and rolled around in an apartment.
Wait, hold on. I think I've heard this one.
Street Fighter 5 pretty bad game.
And the problem, I guess, specifically with Street Fighter V is that they did a bunch of stuff that made us mad. That I feel like punishes us for having played the game for so long, having played Street Fighter.
I think if you had to distill a single offense into it, that's definitely the one. We did obviously a whole podcast on that, so we'll try not to dwell too much. But
sure.
But yeah, I think the single one is like that. It intentionally punishes you for having been good at the previous iteration, which is to say, it's another way of saying that it isn't true to the soul of Street Fighter in various ways.
And I think like that's the baggage that we have to work with, because like if we had our druthers, we would totally go back and everyone would just play Street Fighter 4. Maybe not everyone, but we would. And
also what I think is interesting that I like to I like to pat myself on the back for being conscious enough to acknowledge this. I don't think I would remotely hate Street Fighter 5 if it was called like Geschnarfel Farferl 1 and instead of Guile you had like Bargledarg, and like if it was like literally the same game but it was a different IP.
If it didn't pretend to be Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Would you be excited about it? Do you think you'd play it if it weren't Street Fighter? Not just remove reality from the equation.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to like.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would play it because I would still have problems with its design. And I do have problems, but I would not hate it so vehemently as I do. I would be like, to me, it would be like Skullgirls, where I'm like, that's a game I really don't like, but I get why people like it and that it has blah meritable things. But the fact that it in reality, that it is Street Fighter, it's like if you...
That's what hurts.
It's like if you fucking are like one of those weird truck people and you're like, I don't like truck A, but truck B is the best thing ever. Like, okay, so you know, the people that like the kind of truck, I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever. But it'd be like if you bought that truck and then like 1 year you went to buy a new truck and you're like, I always get the same truck, and then you bought it and it was like a fucking moped.
Clown car. Okay.
Maybe it's a really nice moped, but you're like, no, this is
that's not a truck at all.
It's supposed to be a truck, and then the people who make the truck are like, "What are you talking about? This is what trucks are. This is the soul of a truck.
This is the future of trucks."
Yeah, and you're just like, "No, no?" And they're like, "No, man, it is." And then you're like, "I don't know. It feels like all these things are different." And then they were like, "What are you talking about? You're just being a negative Nancy." And then everybody pounced on you for trying to say that it wasn't a truck anymore. That's the Street Fighter 5 experience. And that's the baggage. That's the baggage
of being gaslit about the game.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, so like in a hypothetical Street Fighter 6 that came out in 2021 instead of the rest of this DLC that we're going to get for Street Fighter 5, I would want it to be like the Street Fighter I remember. I like 4. I want it to be like 4, sincerely. But I understand that they'd want to do something new and different. So like, they probably wouldn't have focus attacks. So like your medium punch and medium kick buttons would probably do a thing.
They probably like wouldn't have focus attacks if I'm being a betting man, but I also really dislike... I think focus attack is literally one of the greatest systems ever added to a game. And I will argue that point briefly just to convince, hopefully, people that I'm not literally just fanboying Street Fighter 4. Because the reason that system is so great, it's not that I think that every game should have a focus attack, or even that focus attack itself is inherently like great in terms of what it does in terms of the gameplay. That's not why it's great. The reason focus attack is great is because it works at all levels of play and improves with the player. So I guess what I should clarify in my original statement is that the implementation of focus attack into the game is one of the greatest achievements in like game design.
Okay.
So we had the episode where we talked about the Mario level, didn't we? We talked about the first Mario level World 1 with your Mega Man. Yeah, the tutorial.
Yes, we did.
So Mario 1-1 and the first like Mega Man X level you were saying. But like focus attack to me is like even better than all of those because A, fighting games are just harder to teach, right? So
they're impossible to teach.
It's a much harder feat. And then B, it does go like the entirety. So like you start out just being like, you don't even know what happens, right? Then you're mashing, you're like, how did I do that? And then you realize if you hit the two buttons at the same time, you absorb attack and it does some damage. Then like a little while you get better and you realize you can cancel before the attack comes out into a forward dash or a back dash. And you're like, oh, I can absorb attacks and not counterattack, just absorb it and do something else instead. That's really good. And then later you find out you can like cancel moves with it. And then you can combo after the canceled move. So like, it's like basically no matter what point in the game you're at, that skill set grows with you, A, and B, which is almost just as important as A, is that the way focus attack works is literally identical on every character. And I think that's really good. Like in other games like Third Strike, it was just a universal overhead. Okay, so everybody has an overhead if you press those two buttons together.
Totally universal.
Fine, but like you can't really do anything with that. It's just an overhead. It's just an overhead. Like fine, whatever. But the fact that once you learn with your main, you're like, oh, I'm going to do, like, say you're playing Ryu. I'm going to do Shoryuken, focus attack, dash cancel forward, ultra. Once you learn how to do that, you immediately have a thread that connects to every single other character in that game. And that's something that is so great.
Rufus the Messiah kick, FADC, ultra.
Yeah. Once you know how to do FADC, you can do that with everybody, but there's different ways you can do it. Your FADC a standing move or a juggle move, or maybe you FADC back. You're always just doing focus attack, dash cancel, but it makes it so much more like interesting and comfortable to pick up a new character because like in Street Fighter 5, you don't have that. Everybody has like a totally unique V skill. They have their V trigger, but it's totally different. So when you pick up a new character, I guess it helps that Street Fighter 5 is so bland. I guess that's what they're going for. But even though it's bland and simple and easy to pick up those characters, there still isn't an immediate thread.
There's not that common thread, yeah.
Like other than just like that their buttons exist, you know? So
because,
like that's
Armika's V skill is that she pulls out a microphone. It looks like a focus attack, except she just does this really long taunt and it powers up her throws.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that unless you looked it up. In fact, everyone's got new V skills. I've had to look them up.
I don't know what most of them are. Yeah.
Right?
The V skill 2, I have no idea.
Who could fucking know?
I haven't played the game since they came out, and I don't know what most of them are.
So there's not even a common thread. There's clearly not a common thread between characters. And there's even less of a common thread, like in the same character. Your two V skills serve completely different purposes.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's why I fucking suck the dick of focus attack so much, because it is like, it truly is like, even if you don't like it, if you don't like what focus attack does to neutral, I think that's legitimate. I do like what focus attack does, but I actually totally understand the argument of like, once you put something like focus attack in, the footsies are quote unquote less pure compared to a game that doesn't have that. I think that's a totally valid point. I think it's actually true. I just think that it's an improvement. I think it's better. I like it.
You like it. Yeah.
But not having that to rely on does make the footsies more direct, pure. And I totally get that statement, but I don't think you can be allowed to say that it isn't like an extremely well made and implemented attack, because I think that is so the reason it's so important is because it encourages people to play more of the roster, which increases your game knowledge, which increases your likelihood to, A, play more, but B, like show other people how to play different characters because you can teach them more easily because you have a better thread to that character. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really good. Anyway, so
what you're looking for then, what you're looking for then in a hypothetical 6 is a new mechanic similar in thought process and implementation to focus attack, because they're going to have some shit.
It doesn't need to be focus attack, but yeah, it should have that sort of. Yeah, I don't need to ever have focus attack again, like right, but it should be something like that.
No,
I don't know
not that I've got any
problem. Yeah,
not that I've got any problem with the mechanic. Just that for Street Fighter 6 to make it a different game, because to a degree they do have not an incentive, but a moral imperative to do something that isn't focus attack again. Otherwise, just put Street Fighter 4 out and let us play it.
Well, first of all, they should put that game out for free and put in new characters because they would make a killing and it would cost them almost nothing. I still don't understand why they haven't. They need to re-release it for free, and they will make a killing just from like release it with every character and give it 2 new characters. Those will also be free, and just still charge people for cosmetics.
Yeah, you just make money.
They'd make so much money. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah,
but that's not what you're going to get.
It's not. But I do want to stop on that point though, because I do have to argue the point of needing to do it differently. I actually fucking hate that. I fucking hate that. The worst thing about fucking fighting games in terms of their design, besides the fact that all the developers are fucking idiots for some reason, they don't use GGPO, they don't fucking listen to the community. They do all the dumbest shit. Like, all the fighting game developers are so fucking...
Shoutouts to Skullgirls and Lab Zero.
Yeah. They're so fucking stupid the way, like, Nintendo, Capcom, like, fucking... apparently NetherRealms is doing better now, which is great. Good for them. But then they fuck up other shit. Their gameplay is terrible. If you like Mortal Kombat, sorry. But suck my butt. I don't know why anybody likes the gameplay in the new Mortal Kombats. It's just... I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, I don't like Tekken, but I get why people like Tekken. I do not understand why people like NetherRealms games. I just the way they play it is so weird to me. Like I just can't.
It's foreign, yeah, but it doesn't hurt my feelings to see NetherRealms.
It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's not like I don't hate them the way I hate fucking Apex Legends or whatever.
No, yeah, fuck that.
But I don't get it. I just don't see the appeal to them. Yeah, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is fighting game developers are stupid, and I don't like the idea of every time they make a new game. You see this in Smash and Street Fighter both, especially. They're like, oh, it's got to be new and different now because it's a new game. Like, I get that you want to have new things, but why do you need to change the core rules because it's a new game? I don't understand it. They do that in like World of Warcraft 2, which isn't even a fighting game. They're like, oh, it's a new expansion. Let's just
reinvent the wheel.
Brief stop into the WoW area. The current public test realm, which is where you like test the new patch before it's live, it's sort of like a beta, but for the plebes that didn't get into beta.
They've got PTR and Overwatch.
Yeah, that just got released, and they redid Holy Paladin, which was pretty much universally considered in the last expansion, one of the few. Which the last expansion was dog shit for those of you who maybe don't remember, which is the current expansion. So the current expansion basically was considered dog shit by everybody. So bad, right? One of the few characters that was actually done right, almost universally, was Holy Paladin. Okay? So there's all these characters that are bad, like Feral Druids, fucking Shadow Priest, every single Shaman spec, fucking there's just so many bad characters, and a lot of them got almost nothing, and they're like, hey guys, let's rewrite Holy Paladin from the ground up. Why? I don't know, it's a new expansion, gotta do it. Why? I don't understand. So I do not understand why game developers feel like they need to reinvent the wheel. If it's a good wheel, I hate League of Legends, but I have so much respect for Riot. I have so much respect for them because as far as I can tell, they're the only company that's not a bunch of fucking idiots about how their game works. They made a good game. Just leave it the same. Add more shit to it. You don't need to remake the fucking game, bro. Just make it the same game. Everybody likes that game. We want to play that game. So I don't agree with the point of that you can't or shouldn't have a mechanic like that again.
Okay, so let me clarify. Not reinventing the wheel, just building on something that you already have is what unfortunately they're doing with Street Fighter V, but that we wish they would do with Street Fighter 4. give us a rebalance, give us a couple new characters. That'll keep me happy for a year. Just
you mean that's what they're currently doing with after releasing Street Fighter V? That's how they're continuing to support it.
That is, yeah. And it's not in a way that makes us happy, but that is what they're doing. Yeah. It's been largely the same game ever since Season 1 ended.
Yep.
They changed it to be
that
more
is the line of delineation. Yeah, Season 1 Street Fighter V is like, I think everybody who hates 5 probably likes Season 1 the most. Yeah.
Because that's when it was the least Street Fighter 5.
Yes, and the most Street Fighter. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I would love for them to release super duper Street Fighter 4.
Sure.
That would be great. I don't see that on the horizon. I wouldn't expect that.
But you don't think 6 should be a super duper Street Fighter 4 of sorts? You think it should be like a whole different game?
I mean, if you're going to bother to make a Street Fighter 6, yeah. Because like otherwise, why don't you make super duper Street Fighter 4?
Because the game already existing is a shot in the foot. There is a huge PR, marketing, player, audience size difference between a re-release update of an old game and something that is brand new. Now, I'm not saying you should fucking literally re-release Street Fighter 4 and call it Street Fighter 6. That's absurd. That's not what I mean. But I don't think looking at previous games and saying what worked, and if the majority of what worked is from Street Fighter 2 or 4, those are the real Street Fighter games. I don't see anything wrong with trying to copy those elements, right? Like, right. But I feel like what happens is people are like,
preserving the spirit.
Oh, that's stale. It's stale. Like, we'll make, jump-ins really good and anti-air's shit because people have been anti-airing for 25 years. It's like, yeah, because we like that. Fucking, like, why would you make that bad? You're so dumb. Like, that's where I get, like, so obviously it should be new graphics engine. It should be, but like, I don't see anything wrong with, it's the same, look at Smash. It's the same thing. They're like, let's make a new Smash game after Melee. Let's make a new Smash game after Melee. Like, why was it Brawl? There were a lot of things Brawl did great. There were a lot of things Brawl did great. We all know we've had this discussion. I actually really like Brawl. I think Brawl is, just indefensibly bad in so many ways that, you can't say it's anything other than a bad game. But also, B is a lot better than people give it credit for and is kind of good in weird ways, even though it's still fucking terrible dog shit. I feel like I've gone through that enough, so we won't spend too much time. But the point is, we came off of Melee. And the whole reason, literally the entire reason Brawl exists is because they looked at Melee and they were like, Smash Brothers is a neat idea, but let's let's change it up and ruin everything. Like, why? Like, we have never had a Melee 2. In the same way that we've really never had like a Street Fighter 2. The closest Street Fighter 2 is Street Fighter 4. I would argue that is a direct enough sequel, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. I know not everyone agrees with me because of focus attack and certain other mechanics, but I think they are similar enough. I would say the main difference that I would call out, besides all the new mechanics in 4, is that things in 2 are generally safer. So that is a rather large design philosophy difference, where 4 has things that are very punishable. In 2, the moves are just safe. Like, you just do, you did the move. It's just safe. You can block a Ken light dragon punch and you just can't fucking punish him 90% of the time in Street Fighter 2. Like, but I think that's a direct improvement. I think there's room to argue. So anyway, some people don't agree with that. I think it's pretty direct, but for the most part, you don't get that. We've never had a Smash game be that way. And you generally don't get that. Even, I don't know enough about like Tekken or fucking any of the other games, but I feel like that's generally how fighting games are, where like the new sequel comes out and I mean, it's still Tekken, but it's so different than the
like
last
Tekken
one.
Tekken Tag is real weird.
Well, Tekken Tag is actually a different series though, right? I mean, that doesn't quite, that's like saying Street Fighter Cross Tekken is different than Street Fighter 4. They're on the same engine, but they're a different thing.
Not quite, because people stopped playing Tekken 6 so that they could play Tekken Tag 2.
Well, people
and then they dropped
would have done that with Street Fighter Cross Tekken if it wasn't such a travesty of a release.
I mean, most of the tournaments ran them at the same time, though. I don't. Maybe it would have been different if SFXT hadn't been so poorly received, but I think they ran both games at the same time.
I'm inclined to think that its poor reception is the main reason for that. But we could debate on that for hours. So, but well, I don't know. Can you at least agree with me that there are a lot of games though that seem to rewrite the wheel more than is necessary for a sequel?
Strive. I am not looking forward to.
Yeah,
because the game is just so fucking weird. It's like barely a Guilty Gear at this point. They have made some nice quality of life improvements. I appreciate that they are normalizing combos and wake up and things so that like you used to have to know like not just big body combos and tiny people combos, but like characters who have approximately the same body shape had different weights, which sounds like a Smash thing, which is fine for Smash. But in a game where you have to just know all of your combos or you lose 60% of your health, that's irritating. It's frustrating and not conducive. It doesn't improve the game in a meaningful way or improve your knowledge, except to say, I know that I should use this combo on Soul and that combo on Kai.
Yeah,
nice, good for you or whatever.
Well, I mean, some people do like character specific combos, but that's a bit different than just like hitbox size. If they have like a weight, what you're saying, it's definitely a new, different mechanic. So like, I feel like there's just no need to change some of the stuff that they change sometimes. They literally just do it because they want to make it different. And it's like, if it works, just do the thing that works. I don't get it.
So in Guilty Gear, as long as I've known the game, when you hit somebody, you do a big long combo. And then you get your huge damage, and then you get your Okizeme, which is like some stupid 4-way mix-up that's layered. And then you get, another confirm. And then you do more damage, and it just keeps going like that. They have changed that core principle for Guilty Gear Strive. Now you may opt for high damage, or you may opt for Okizeme. Those are your only two options. You can't have both. It is forbidden. It's not like, if I only had more meter, or if I still had X Factor, I'd do it. But like, now you must make a choice. And like, whether or not you like that as an idea, that's not what Guilty Gear is. That's not where we are anymore. We've moved on to this weird, bizarre other game that probably I wouldn't hate if you called it like innocent band. I don't know enough about Gears. But like if you called it something else, I wouldn't be so upset, except for pretending that Strive is a Guilty Gear game. And it's
because like I'm not a huge Guilty Gear fan, and some of the stuff they've done in Strive, I'm like, that seems kind of neat. I still wouldn't play it because it has literally like the most awful UI I've ever seen. Like the fucking giant combo. Like weird. It's the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. So I wouldn't play it. But conceptually, some of the stuff that people have said, I'm like, that sounds kind of neat. Yeah. But I also totally get the argument because if you're a Guilty Gear player,
not Guilty Gear.
It's not. And there is. I do want to make a distinction here because that's not to say you can't ever change something in a main series, right? You should if it makes sense and it is true to that, right? Like I have always maintained, as much as I dislike Street Fighter 3 and generally think that it isn't a Street Fighter game in most ways, it has the great change of the Street Fighter 3 throw and throw tech system, which is infinitely better than the absolute travesty of dog shit that is the Street Fighter 2 throw system, right? Even though Street Fighter 2 is like one of the best games of all time, and I love it to death, the throw system is just bad. It's just bad. It's just stupid. The way it works is dumb.
It needed to be improved upon.
It needed to be fixed. So you can make changes and you can improve in ways that are true to the core of the game. And that's what I think. Again, I don't know that there's a better example than Melee to Brawl. And because that's why we could do a whole podcast on
Melee to Brawl.
Melee to Brawl, by the way, because that's like some kind of weird community abusive relationship shit that I don't think a lot of people know about. But anyway, Melee was this great game, and it's like people wanted Melee 2, and I think they assumed part of Melee 2 would be that like certain things would be easier, right? Like maybe wave dashing is in the game, but it's easy. Maybe there's a button that wave dashes or a shortcut key that wave dashes. But instead it's just like not only can you not wave dash, but like you fucking like trip if you try to run, and like, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, why wouldn't you take that logical progression if you're gonna, like, to me that's like the new thing is like wave dashing is cool. Like L canceling is stupid. Delete L canceling. L canceling literally serves no purpose other than to hurt your hands.
Make sure that you can.
L canceling is the same as like plinking in Street Fighter 4. It's a mechanic that there's no reason to ever not do it. Therefore, it could just be deleted. Whereas like wave dashing is like, well, there are plenty of reasons you don't want to wave dash, but there's also a lot of really great reasons to wave dash, and it's fun, especially when you get good at it. And maybe if you made that easier, other players would have more fun doing
it'd be more accessible because
it'd be more accessible.
The idea is that it was fun in the first place.
But instead they're like, no, we'll just delete the whole thing because we don't want it and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like...
And fuck you.
It feels... yeah. It feels like that is a lot of games. So I think the original part of this question before we rambled for a million years was something about what we look for. And and what I look for in a sequel, to answer the question directly, is something that respects and maintains the integrity of the original while still innovating in a logical, good way. You know, like that's what I look for. And if it doesn't do that, fuck you. Why did you call this a sequel? What?
Exactly. Yeah. Just call it a different game. Street Fighter EX is a series. Street Fighter Alpha is a series.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
Combos and they're 3D and shit.
Well, that's why like it never bothered me in Cross Tekken. All the stuff in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I was like, this is really neat. It's a neat game because I was like, oh, it's literally just a totally different game.
Yep.
And it has a lot of similarities. It's the same graphics engine. Things look very similar. A lot of the moves are the same for the characters, but they operate differently and you juggle differently. All the mechanics are different. No problem at all. But dude, if they release... And Street Fighter Cross Tekken, for those of you who don't know, is only a travesty because Capcom tried to do a bunch of absolute offensive fucking... just offensive horseshit with the monetization system. You could buy gems, and each character... You had 2 characters in your team. Each character had 3 gem slots. And you could put gems in, right? Sounds kind of cool so far. You put a gem in a slot. A red gem gives you extra damage in some way. Like maybe your anti-airs do more damage if you have a red gem, or maybe your grounded normals do more damage, or your special normals do more damage with a red gem. And then you had a yellow gem, which was like you have more defense, you take less damage from grounded normals or special attacks or whatever. Or maybe if you block 5 times, the yellow gem activates, and for 10 seconds you take reduced damage from all things. And then there was blue gems that were like if you do X normal attacks, you gain more meter for 10 seconds, or you gain a little extra meter every time you do a special. Actually kind of neat. Interesting. You cut out for a second, just FYI. Watch your Mikey Mike stuff. You cut out again because you're leaning back.
Am I still here?
Yeah. Now you're here. Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure. I don't know what you said. So
I knew.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Right. But anyway, yeah. So that's actually kind of neat. But then they fucking sold gems. They sold gems.
Yeah.
That did ridiculous shit.
Your gem that you got when you opened up the plastic wrap on the game was like land 5 anti-airs and we'll give you 10% meter. But if you gave Capcom $20, then you got the gem that said land 3 anti-airs and we'll give you 50% meter.
Which
is stupid.
Well, that's extremely stupid, but that's not even half of it. Do you not even remember some? Oh my god.
The auto block
gems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could buy gems that just, if you didn't block, it would block for you. What the fuck is that? So you do a cross up on someone and they don't block, you hit them, and then the gem like blows up and it's like block, and you're just like, and they could do that like once every fucking 20 seconds
or something. Oh no,
or some shit, or maybe it was once a round, or I don't know, but it was like just
stupid,
really dumb. And then like later as time went on, they sold like more and more gems that did more and more dumb shit,
stupider things. And like from because we're obviously tournament players and we want to be able to play this. We had no idea how to standardize this or make sure that everyone had the approved set of gems.
Yep,
kind of like the custom stuff in Wii U Smash.
Yeah, it was like me fighters in Smash times 9/11.
Yeah,
there were like literally like fucking there were literally like 500 fucking gems in the game. And they were all like, so like you had to go buy all these gems. And it wasn't like spending $50 to get all the gems. It was like, I don't even know how much money it cost. It was an absurd amount of money. And
like,
go ahead.
The nice thing about the Wii U Smash was that it didn't cost money to get custom moves. And if I unlocked all of the custom moves, I could take my 3DS and give you all of the custom moves. Mm-hmm. It was that easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's difficult and it's stupid, but
that's so much easier than it was
to Street Fighter, which
Street Fighter
is just
Cross Tekken, dude.
You have to pay like $100 for every setup.
Yeah.
And the game takes so fucking long. You need like 20 setups anyway. But
it's insane. So anyway, most of the time, if you wonder about like hearing like conflicting opinions about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it's actually not that conflicting. Everyone universally agrees that the game was dog shit, but for the reasons we just described. But the actual game itself, especially generally speaking, after the 2013 patch, most people think was either pretty fine, pretty solid, or actually really good, and unfortunately fucked over by Capcom's shitty decisions with how to market and sell the DLC of it, which was the gems. Because the core game is actually really cool. Really, really cool. So anyway, that's a little Street Fighter Cross Tekken lore about weird games. But yeah, it's an offshoot game, so I didn't hate it, right? But
because they clearly labeled it.
If Street Fighter 5 was Street Fighter Cross Tekken, that would be like, this is an interesting thought experiment. Do you think if they released, hypothetically, Street Fighter Cross Tekken as Street Fighter 5, would that be more or less offensive than actual Street Fighter 5? I can't decide right now. I'm still thinking about it in my head.
It's like if I could go back a handful of podcast episodes. You remember when we were talking about the times and racism, and you were like, wow, I really wish people would go back to being quiet about their racism versus now when they're like so in your face about it.
Yeah.
I think I would be less offended by them calling Okay, let me unravel. Let me show my work. Calling Street Fighter 5 when it's clearly Street Fighter
something
Crazy Edition is offensive to me because it's a lie. Calling Street Fighter Cross Tekken Street Fighter 5 is that same lie. So in both cases, you're not telling the truth. You have clearly made a game that isn't it.
I feel like though the more I think about this, the more I think Street Fighter Cross Tekken is actually more Street Fighter though. Because you have invincible DPs, you have good anti-airs. Then basically Street Fighter Cross Tekken is basically just Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter fundamentals. Like even fireballs and shit are pretty much just as good. No, they're not as good.
They're not as good.
But they're good. They're much better than they are in 5. But they it's basically just standard Street Fighter fundamentals with combos turned up to 11 because you get to juggle like Tekken juggles, right?
Yeah.
So in Street Fighter, normally you can't juggle more than like 1 or 2 times. That's just like how the game works. But in Cross Tekken, if you ever anti-aired someone, it was like you got like a 4-hit combo with one character and you tagged into another 4-hit combo with another character just because you like anti-air crouch hard punch them when they jumped at you or something. It was pretty sick. So I feel like the more I think about this, that is a better lie. But yeah, they would be the same kind.
Because it's less of a lie.
Yeah, it's the same kind of lie, but it's less severe, and it's yeah. I think so. Anyway, what was the tail end of Jeff's? Did we cover everything, or is that his main?
We covered. Want to say most of his points. Upcoming games that I'm excited for.
Is this fighting game specific?
We'll make it fighting game specific. I am excited for Street Fighter 6, which I know won't come out at least until 2022.
Which is
because I want to know if
depressing.
Street Fighter 5's reign is over.
This is where I struggle because like I know there are people who like Street Fighter 5. I'm glad you're having fun with it. That's fine. Whatever. I mean, you're wrong and stupid, but it's fine. But where you can't argue is that it is and has been terrible for the Street Fighter community. We've
dissolved.
Yeah, and it's not because of COVID. It was dissolving long before COVID, bro. Because of Street Fighter 5.
Have a Street Fighter 5 scene after Bowl Wars in St. Louis. So.
I have a hard time. Like I am certainly excited for Street Fighter 6 because even if it's not even good,
it won't be Street Fighter 5 anymore, probably. It won't be
Street Fighter 5. There's no way it'll be as bad as Street Fighter 5. There's no way, right? How could it be? After all of this, it would have to be better than 5. Like, my God.
Anything has to be better.
Pretty much.
But, I am excited for Skullgirls to have a new character. Skullgirls Mobile is getting Annie of the Stars.
I remember you mentioned that
sometime this year.
I didn't ask who it was. Annie of the Stars. Is that like Lucy in the Sky with diamonds?
Not quite. She's got a parasite that gives her galactic powers.
So like Lucy in the Sky with diamonds.
Sorry. The more that I think about it,
she trips acid Lucy and goes into outer space. Yeah. Okay.
No, her mom wished that she would be a child forever, and then she stopped aging, and then she got like
because
older,
of a
but not
galactic
physically.
Parasite?
No. The galactic parasite is a separate thought.
Are you saying galactic or galactic?
Galactic.
Galactic. Okay.
Yep. So back in the day, there was Skullgirls, and it had like 8 characters or whatever, and everyone was like moderately pleased with it. And then the sad Konami times happened, and then they had their Indiegogo campaign to crowdfund like 3 characters or whatever. We wound up getting like 5. It was better than we deserved. They did a great job. The game is fantastic. I know it doesn't speak to you on a personal level. That's
Big
okay.
Big
Band, Beowulf, Squiggly, Eliza, Robo Fortune, and Fukua.
These are all characters
that we got. Yep. Now we're gonna get Annie. She was one of the characters that was mentioned in the Indiegogo campaign, but she didn't win. But
okay.
Yeah, so they're shoving her into the Skullgirls mobile game, which is doing very well and actually covers a lot of the Skullgirls lore. I haven't played it. I want to. I think I'm gonna pick it up. But since they put all that work into making her playable in the mobile version of the game, and since the mobile game is like actually profitable, they're going to put Annie into Skullgirls Second Encore, which is like really neat.
That's sick.
And it gives me a lot of hope because like the game is a wonderful microcosm in and of itself, which is to say there's a lot of things that are fucked up and silly about it, but I'm happy to have it. And we all thought that was like the end, like Skullgirls period was just a complete statement. But if they're going to put Annie in the game, they might patch some stuff. They might make some stuff weird.
And do they get to make the game since Mike Z is canceled or something now? Does he make the game? What's going on there?
Fucking Lab Zero. Let me look. You go ahead. You vamped for a second, but like, the last time I checked, the Lab Zero said we will soon make a statement about Mike Z.
Yeah,
and that was like a
quick fill in here. So Lab Zero is a company that Mike Z started, I believe, and Mike Z is a fighting game person who had been known for years in various games, and he created Skullgirls, and what's kind of interesting about that is he also created some code that allows PS3 legacy controllers to work on the PS4, which then when he created it, Capcom's code for Street Fighter V was dog shit, and he like tweeted them and was like, use my code, you fucking dumbasses, it works fine. And then they
just like that.
And then they literally just like that. And then they did use his code, but they fucked it up. And then he tweeted them like, you fucked my code up, it works fine. You did it wrong. And then they still didn't fix it for a while, and eventually they did. So anyway, this guy's been around, he's done a lot of things. And I don't know, he made like a weird joke about George Floyd or something, and everybody hates
that
him
was
now.
kind of fucked up. But then the thing that actually got him canceled, because he was like, hey, I'm sorry, I've donated a bunch of money, I shouldn't have said that, it was stupid. The thing that actually got him canceled was a conversation he had with some woman.
I forgot about this, but I read that and I don't get it. Am I canceled for not getting it? It looked like to me he was just a really bad, awkward flirt.
Yeah.
Which was bad, and it was cringy, but it didn't come across to me as abusive at all. It just seemed like he was really, really awkward, like super weird and awkward about flirting. Like but it didn't seem like I don't remember reading anything that was just like, "Hi, how are you? By the way, here's a picture of my penis," or
that's not like.
Or like, hi, my name's Mike, fucking suck my dick, you dumb bitch, or anything. Like, there wasn't anything like that. There wasn't anything like that. It was more just like, he was talking to some girl, and he was like, I don't even know that I could recant it, because it was so weird.
He asked her permission. So I'm gonna get canceled. She opened up it's my time. It's my time to go.
Yay!
She opened up the conversation. She said, hey, I really like your game because it has a lesbian BDSM. Okay. That is like her opening statement.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I see. You're talking about that scene. Haha. We've got some other stuff that's also kind of horny if you're into that. And she's like, they have a conversation.
Yes.
And he's not even like flirting. And like, far be it for me to disparage her occupation. She streams games and wears tight clothing. That's fine. You do you. I'm Lex, seriously not judging. I know I look like I'm judging.
I'm gonna need you to say it, Lex.
What? You want me to say like titty streamer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would say her occupation is
if he gets the W-2, it probably has.
I got Lex canceled on a podcast that was dedicated to me being cancelable. Do.
I'm going to be so mad if this is really what puts me away. But at the same time, it's kind of fucked up.
I'll miraculously not get canceled, and we'll both be like, I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
You goaded me into saying titty
That's so
streamer.
weird.
I'm the guy who got canceled.
That's so weird. We'll find out that you smoked weed once, and it'll be that'll be what makes everyone.
So that part wasn't a joke. So like she's talking to him, he's talking back, and it's not even like flirtatious. Like he's weird. He's using asterisks to talk, like in asterisks says something or says to self. Yeah, it's fucking
cringy. It was literally like a cringy, like 13-year-old talking on like a message board to someone.
MSN Messenger.
Like, yeah, it was. I mean, it was 100% cringe. Like, no question there.
Absolutely, not defending that, but I don't feel like I have to defend his inability to communicate in a suave manner.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, though. Because like I remember like reading it, and I was just like, this just does not come across to me as anything that is remotely offensive. It seems like she just didn't like. She felt uncomfortable that I guess he made advances, which I don't. Okay, I don't have the transcript, but I do remember him like talking vaguely about some other sexy stuff, but again, I feel like
So about that, he says, I have so many questions that I would love to ask somebody like you, but I get the feeling that I probably shouldn't. And she says, it's okay, ask your questions. And so he says, so what's it like being a titty streamer? Which is like the barest minimum.
Does he actually say that line? Because I don't remember that. That's amazing.
No, I'm paraphrasing, but not enough.
Okay.
Not enough. He's like, so what's it like? Like, I'm not knocking the hustle, but like, how do you feel about your occupation? Does it make you feel comfortable? Like, are you good where you're doing? Like, are you happy?
And is that what pissed her off? Do you think is that what you think?
She stopped responding, and he's like, okay, I guess I've put my foot in my mouth. I'll leave you alone. Have a nice life or whatever.
I'm sorry. Like, but see, here's the problem. This is the problem. We've talked about like vaguely like there is a difference between like just general girl playing games and quote unquote gamer girl. There just is. And like, and I'm not, and it is unfortunate. I'm not like defending every dude. Like, that's not my point, because there are certainly like chicks that are just trying to play games and live a normal life. And then people are like, you're a gamer girl because you're a girl, you play games. And that sucks. And that's absolutely like a burden that women have to deal with, which is bullshit, and they shouldn't have to deal with. But I also hate when people try to deny the existence of gamer girls, because there absolutely are chicks who like don't have any interest in it, and they literally just do that. That does happen. But then people always are so quick to be like, no, you just think that because you hate women and you want to exclude women from your spaces. And it's just like, I really don't. And I get that I should be better at being welcoming to try to include women, and that I probably have a predisposed both societal, experiential, etc. bias, like that I should try to compensate for, because like general white dude things. Yeah, I'm like 100. Like, yeah, man, I'm all for all the things you're saying. I get it. But also, don't tell me there aren't gamer girls. There aren't titty streamers. There are.
We know that they exist. And
I'm not even anti-titty streamer.
Yeah,
I'm anti-titty streamers gaslighting me and telling me they're not titty streamers. And I'm anti-people telling me that titty streamers who admit that they're titty streamers aren't titty streamers. Like, that's the other problem. Is like, you could be a titty streamer and be like, I'm a titty streamer. I'm going to titty stream. Fuck it. You do you, bae. Like, let's go. Titty stream it up. And then other people will show up and be like, I can't believe you called this person a titty streamer. And you're like, they're literally called like titty streamer 5,000. Like, I just, can we not pretend through the guise of being progressive that things don't exist? Like, that is the worst part to me about like the progressive movement stuff, is like, I'm for 90% of it, but because I'm not for 10% of it, which is pretty fucking ridiculous, the 10% that I'm talking about, apparently I'm a filthy moderate or something, and it's just like, get out of here. Like, I'm pretty liberal. I'm just not like
you're not going to catch me dead describing myself as a liberal.
Excuse me.
A slur.
That's a slur now. Oh, well, you're so far now. Yeah, you're so far now that
anarcho-communist.
You're but it just bothers me when people try to like, they're so binary, and I feel like that's kind of the problem with some of the way people are these days. And like, I'm not saying we shouldn't be at fault or we should never apologize or that we shouldn't analyze things, because I do feel like, especially the last several years, I feel like I've gotten a lot better at that. Fuck the word woke, but sure.
I know, but that is what you mean.
I don't know. I try to like deal with stuff like that in a different way than I used to, and I think it's good. But like at the same time, like fuck, man, like people like titty streamers. Titty streamers exist. It's a fucking symbiotic relationship.
It's okay.
It's okay. And you can certainly be a titty streamer who is also good at Street Fighter, or you can be a titty streamer that quote unquote plays Street Fighter and doesn't really play and doesn't, and that doesn't matter. Those are all fine, but like, don't like fucking tell me that people aren't trying to titty stream. They are trying to titty stream.
And it's okay.
It's okay. Like that's why we have OnlyFans now. Like, yay, like sex positive is good. Like
we're pro sex.
Like, yeah, sex positive is good. Also, also don't pressure people into making OnlyFans. I'm down for that.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
They're all good things, but like
your body, your choice.
But like, fuck, man, if somebody's like main thing that they do on Twitch is that they do just talking streams, and their webcam is 50% of the screen and goes down to their fucking torso just to make sure they fucking get their whole body on stream, and they have an OnlyFans, which is pictures of them selling lewds. Cancel me now, I guess, but I don't have a problem calling that person a titty streamer. I'm sorry. Or maybe it's a dude. I don't know. There's that hot dude that gets linked around on Twitter. That muscle. There's some muscle guy who's like a fucking
Tyler or something.
I don't know. Not that guy. It's some other guy. But like, there's some dude that's like, which I'm also for. Like, why aren't there more hot muscle dudes or hot twink dudes fucking selling that? Like, sell your bodies too, boys. Do it up. I don't give a fuck.
From what I hear from the bi gamer guys that I follow on Twitter, male OnlyFans, or you can buy like 6 subscriptions to a guy OnlyFans for every one girl OnlyFans you get. So
yes,
Just be conscious.
It is the one area that like men are like less privileged than women.
Absolutely dunked
like,
on.
Yeah, that we just get fucking slam dunked is like trying to sell lewds as anyone with a penis.
You're fucked,
like
man.
You're fucked. Yeah,
no one wants to see that.
But like, nobody. Yeah, fuck you. Nobody wants. Oh my god. So anyway, I don't know, dude. That shit drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
If I can not be canceled real quick while I'm talking.
Well, I tried to cancel myself harder than you, so everyone will.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, everyone will forget. Everyone will forget. They'll cancel me instead.
I see that it's certainly not my place, and it's not Mike Z's place or anyone else's place to decide what it is that you said doesn't make someone uncomfortable. If I said something that makes someone uncomfortable, then that's absolutely a valid interpretation from their point of view, right? Like if I say something right now, if my sentence is coming off too harsh, I might be scaring you. And that's okay for you to feel scared and like I should manage the way that I communicate with you. But it looks to me like if I were just like really bad at interpersonal communication, that there's nothing that Mike Z said that I wouldn't have said. Especially considering that he never got any feedback from her except for positive reinforcement. I'm not blaming her. But from his perspective, looking at what he was told, looking at the chat log, he only got.
I'm sorry. I will jump on that grenade too and blame her to an extent. Because that does not count as victim blaming in my book. Because she never communicated anything that indicated anything. And if you don't at least say like, hey, I'm uncomfortable.
That makes me uncomfortable. How is he to know? He can't.
It was a text chat. It was a text chat. It was a text chat that started about sexy time things. So like, yeah, I don't know. And I have only, recently like gotten better at what you're talking about, where like sometimes, maybe your intent was different than their interpretation.
Sure.
But I feel like, God, I don't know. I feel like we need to push back on both sides too, because sometimes it's like, I do think it's important to recognize that even if you didn't intend to piss someone off or make them upset, you can do that
thing. It still happened.
It did happen. But I also think there are times where the onus is on the other person, right? Like there are times where people are just offended about things that I think 90% of people would find innocuous. And I'm not saying this always happens, because a lot of times it's the opposite, where the person is offended and you really were over the line, even though you didn't mean to be over the line. You might have been in that situation. And I've been on both sides of this line in my life in different experiences, but especially in like the fucking Twitter sphere, dude. It's so
Not
easy.
Me. Everyone likes me.
It's so it's so easy to just be like, oh no, like you fucking crossed that line and I feel threatened or I feel whatever, therefore fuck you. And it's like, I don't know, man, like maybe you're an adult and you should learn how to manage your fucking feelings. Like, if I walk up to you and I'm just like, oh man, the other day I was raping a baby. Like, okay, like obviously, like that could trigger somebody. But if I just tell you that, like, the other day I went to fucking McDonald's and got a cheeseburger, and then you're like, oh man, my cousin choked on a cheeseburger and died, and you just triggered me. I'm like, look, fucking sorry about your cousin, but there is just no fucking way. I'm sorry. There's no way I could have known that your cousin choked on a cheeseburger and died. And if that, like, fuck you. Like, if you're gonna be that fucking bitchy about it, like, I just couldn't have known. So, God, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's a reasonable amount of
plausible deniability.
People expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say a thing. I don't think it's healthy or good to scrutinize everything before you say it completely to the fact where, like, we can't even communicate with each other anymore. But I also think it's good to rein some shit in and maybe think a little bit about certain things that you say. So I don't know, like, I feel like this is certainly an instance where I'm like super cancelable fucking non-woke side of the argument, but like, fuck me, I'll die on that fucking sword. Like, it just doesn't, I don't even give a fuck about Mike Z. I don't give a fuck about that dude. He said something.
Like him.
I don't give a fuck.
Obviously, there's
he said some things that I think are good about things. But he makes a game I don't care about. He did some cool things. I've never really followed him on Twitter. Maybe I do now. I forget.
I followed him on Twitter back like several years. He's like one of the first people I followed.
He's never been like one of my like FGC crushes or anything where I'm like, oh, he's so cool and does things. Like, I just never really gave a fuck about him. So like, I don't really feel like there's any element of me like wanting to pardon him for like liking him. It just seems like a stupid situation. So anyway, I don't know. I feel like the joke is the same. It's like a shitty bad joke that he shouldn't have made. But like, to me, that's still... well, we talked about this on the cancel episode. Like, it's the same way like Filipino Champ. Like, it was a fucking shitty joke that he shouldn't have made, but like, I don't really think it's cancelable. We canceled him for like a slew of other things that he's done in the past.
Worst, and also for
which
that.
Which is true, but I also kind of still have a problem with the fact that we acted like we canceled him for Watermelon Joke. Like, that seems disingenuous.
Watermelon Gate.
Yeah, that seems disingenuous and stupid too. So like, that's kind of my problem with the whole thing. It's like, if somebody did a bunch of shitty stuff in the past, like, well, you know, listen to that episode. Listen to
it's a whole episode over there.
Listen to Cancellation Roundup. That's where this topic's going, and it's going to be the same thing. So listen to Cancellation Roundup.
Sorry.
That's one of our episodes.
This episode was about games that we're excited for. Skullgirls making new Darkstalkers and have it mostly be
hey man, we hit the topic. We hit it.
We did it.
We hit it. It's done. We just had a bookend of bullshit that was pointless. Which is, I think, what people like.
Hanging an albatross about my neck. Yeah,
I think people like that. I think people like our randomness. So, at any rate, we'll conclude this episode with that. And if we don't have an episode next week, it's because we're both canceled. I have been MetalMusicMan,
and I've been Professor Lex,
and we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.